What does it mean to be vulnerable? How do you view it?
I view vulnerability as just being true to you, being comfortable with who you are, being comfortable expressing who you are and people seeing who you are and being okay whether they like you or not like you. Like, I really think it's that simple. Just being okay with who you are, and however the world receives that, then that's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Do you think a lot of people today struggle with vulnerability?
yeah, I think a lot of people think vulnerability means like you weak or you just letting everybody like use you or abuse you or like just nonsense thinking in my opinion. But I don't think that's what vulnerability means. I don't think it means to be soft or means to just have no boundaries or I don't believe that's what it means.
I asked that because I recently started to, I guess, discover a meaning behind vulnerability for myself.
Okay.
And I've never honestly really taken the time to even think about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you said, like a lot of people look at it as being something like being weak, or especially as a man, being like okay with crying to your spouse or your partner or whatever.
Right.
Looking at vulnerability as being this thing that, again, makes you look weak or soft or something like that, or able to just express your feelings. And I don't believe that that's what that is now. Having, researched it a little bit, looked into it for myself, and I've come to the conclusion that I think that a lot of people look at vulnerability as being that way, but I think of it now more so as being an elevated form of like authenticity. Like, I look at vulnerability as being completely yourself and being okay with what that looks like for you.
Absolutely.
And that might also be, regardless of whatever your past is, whatever you've been through, what you like, what you don't like, being okay with all of those sides of you and not conforming to what other people think you should be or what other people think is okay. But that is not a green light for you to be an asshole or to be somebody who's indecent or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I look at it as being extremely okay with who you are as a person and embracing your uniqueness and realizing that that may not be appealing to everybody and being okay with that.
Right.
That's how I view vulnerability and like authenticity now. And I've just discovered that for myself.
Yeah, I think our definitions are along the same lines for sure.
Yeah.
Just being able to be yourself, be okay with who you are and how you show up in the world, and whether people receive you or not, that has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. But you have to be okay with who you are and expressing your fullness.
100%.
You know?
Yeah, because we've had conversations, recently where I've opened up to you about different things, that I've been through in my past and different things that I felt and experienced before. And I've realized, man, that I've always had this ability to be extremely open with you.
Yes.
And I'm grateful of the fact that I've been able to do that with you without ever feeling like I have to be so reserved. And I more so look at a way to, how can I communicate this to my wife to where she can really feel where I'm coming from? And how can I articulate it in a way to where she can truly see what it means to me or how it's impacted me or whatever the case may be of what I'm trying to get across to you. And I'm grateful that I have you in my life to where we've built such a strong relationship to where I can do that. And it doesn't ever make me feel like less or that I can't do that with you, because I know there's a lot of people out there that can't do that.
Right. I'm grateful for your willingness to be open with me. I'm grateful for creating an environment to where you feel safe enough to do that with me, because a lot of people want a safe space, but they don't want to be the safe space.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that you look at me in such a way to where like I am that safe space for you to be open and vulnerable. Yeah.
And that, even the word safe space to me is, I ain't gonna lie, I don't like trendy words. I don't like trendy words.
Yeah.
I don't like none of that stuff. And from like safe space, triggered, all that crap. Like all of it just make my flesh crawl. Like I hate it.
Right.
However, I know that it's easily understandable for people today.
Of course.
So those would be the only reasons why sometimes I use. I'm like, okay, I want you to understand this. So I'm using this language for you to get it.
So what's another way you would describe it?
It's fine.
No. Let's dive on that. Like, what is another way you would describe that then? If it's not like a safe space for you to be open and honest, what would you describe it as?
Honestly,
what's a better way to describe it?
It's being straightforward. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I think it describes it perfectly. It's just that I think what bothers me is the fact that words they can have so much meaning and so much value, right? Mm-hmm. But then they get overly used to where all of the depth of what they actually are starts to get stripped from them. Mm. And then it starts to get annoying to me.
And that's why I think it's important to realize what it means to you and how you're expressing it. Like when I'm expressing safe space, you know exactly what I mean, not what other people are saying. When you know what I mean when I say safe space, because you know what I am to you.
Yeah.
You know how open I've been able to receive you. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's, like, to me, safe space is literally the perfect way to describe that, because I feel like I am that for you and I feel like you are that for me. Yeah. Fuck what everybody else mean when they say it, but I know it's true for us for sure. And I feel like that's literally the perfect way to describe what we have for each other.
Yeah.
Or what we've been for each other.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely. And so even in looking at that, like, I'm so glad that I've always been able to come to you with pretty much anything. Mm-hmm. And I've never had to posture myself in a certain way in order to be able to communicate anything to my wife. I'm like, babe, hold up, I'm feeling this thing, or I'm going through this thing mentally or emotionally or whatever, and it may not come out the best way, but just rock with me while I find my words, or I get this thing out. Help me unpack this. And I've never had to be completely reserved or had to say it like a certain way, tiptoeing around how I feel, when I can just talk to you. I can just come to you and be like, hey, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm going through. I'm not looking for you to fix it or nothing like that. I need you to feel me.
I think that's so dope, our ability to have like raw conversations where it's like, I'm not here to judge you. You're not here to judge me. We're being expressive, and we're just letting each other in on how we're feeling, what we're thinking about, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to come out perfect, because communication isn't always going to be perfect. Sometimes you're going to say some flip shit, and that's just what it is. Right. But I know your heart enough, and you know my heart enough to know that we wouldn't say anything that would hurt each other. Yeah. But me being expressive in this moment is just me giving you the rawness of me, and nobody else can experience that but you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because if I had to speak to you perfectly every time I talked, I wouldn't talk to you, because there's no way for me to always say the right thing at the right time, with the right tone, with the right delivery, with the right facial expressions. There's no way.
Because we have this thing in us that we can't avoid called humanness.
Yes.
And our humanness comes flawed. Mm-hmm. And sometimes in certain situations, that flawedness it can be a little bit overpowering, but it's natural. But the dope thing about having such a strong foundation in a relationship is knowing that I still know your heart.
Yes.
I still know who my wife is. I still know that this is a woman who cares about me and who's communicating something to me that she wants me to understand, or to at least be able to listen to her and feel her, even if I don't get it all the way. Yeah. And I don't have to retaliate all the time, or feel like I have to defend everything. Like sometimes I could just listen. Like I ain't got to get it in this moment, but she got to get something out.
And I think that's so dope. You don't always have to understand in the moment. Just care enough about me to listen to me.
Yeah.
And just at least try to get where I'm coming from. You know, at least allow me the space to express myself, you know, and because clearly it's something that's on my heart and it's really heavy. And you're my go-to. So I appreciate you being able to be there for me and just to care enough for me to express myself.
Yeah. You know? And it's so dope because I can remember times, you know, for both of us, we've had conversations and we've brought certain things to each other and been like, I don't know what that's like, but thank you for sharing it with me. What do you need from me?
Yes, absolutely.
And it stopped right there.
Yeah.
Like, what do you need from me so that way I can best support you through whatever this is or however you're feeling?
Right.
Because I can't relate, but I care.
Mm-hmm. And it's impossible for me to understand everything about you. Like, I can't understand, but I care enough about you to want to try. I care enough about you to want to support you in whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I care enough to listen. That's what really matters, right? I don't have to understand to give a to care.
Yes.
To care.
Yeah, man. And I love that. Like, we even get to experience a lot of that on the show.
Yeah.
And what's so funny about that is so many people don't realize that our show is really just us talking about stuff that we feel.
Yeah.
Things that we've learned, things that we've grown through, and that it's really just our perspective of something that we've either grown through, lived through, experienced, or something of the sort.
Yeah.
We're never telling anybody what to do. It's just we're having open and honest communication with each other.
Yeah.
And some people might relate.
Yeah.
Some people may not. This is just what we're experiencing in the moment. Mm-hmm. It ain't really necessarily for anybody else. We're just sharing it because these are real conversations that we have. Mm-hmm. And maybe other people have exposure to it. Maybe they don't. Mm-hmm. But this is just us sharing ours. Mm-hmm. It ain't telling nobody what to do.
This is literally us having a video diary of our own personal growth, of our own marriage growth, of us just trying to get better at communicating with each other. Mm-hmm. That's literally what this is.
Yes.
And we're just doing it publicly. And us being able to play back our conversations and see how much we've grown since the last conversation or see how our thought processes have changed since then. Like, that shit is dope to me.
I swear. And it's fire because we've looked at our old content and be like, man, I don't know if I agree with that the way I said it before. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with the fact that my opinion or views has changed on something that I shared a year ago or whatever the case may be. Because our objective in the show isn't to be right. Mm-hmm. It's not to be experts. It's not to coach people. This is me talking to my wife talking to me about how we feel about something that we're experiencing, something that we're growing through, or whatever the case. Mm-hmm. And we're just sharing it publicly.
You know what I think is dope? Like, even with the content that we've made in the past and we disagree with, even us disagreeing with it is helpful.
Yeah.
Like, me seeing that I disagree with what I said before helps me either solidify what I already believe now or try to solidify what I believe right now or find another way of thinking that is more helpful. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So it's like, even if I disagree with it, it's still helpful for me because I can still grow from that disagreement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
It do, because we get to look back at things that we've said before and we get to see our real-time growth.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you know what? I did think like that before. I know how it helped me then, but today it won't help me because we're moving different. Mm-hmm. We're thinking about the world differently. We're showing up in the world as different people and we've grown over time.
Yes.
So like you said, this is quite literally our video diary of our conversations that we get to look back on for us, which is why the show is called One Dope Couple. Like, it's just us having our own personal conversations where we get to be vulnerable and open up and share certain things, whatever, that are important to us. Mm-hmm. And we just get to let people look in on our conversations as we grow through them.
Yeah.
And again, it's never to tell people like, hey, you should be like us or do this thing. Now, we might make certain suggestions, maybe, but even then, you have to contextualize it to yourself.
Yeah.
Your situation, who you're with, and who you are as a person. We can't make it useful for you.
Yeah.
You have to have the desire to do that for yourself.
Yeah.
And we're very clear on that.
Yes. We've said it so many times.
So many times. But it's
people gonna do what they do.
They do.
That's fine. That's fine. We're still feeling like we're still doing what we're supposed to be doing and serving the purpose that we believe we're called to serve. Like, and that's just what it is. So I love doing this show. I can't even lie.
You ain't lying, man.
I know, like, when we first started, it was a little rocky and I was scared. But I love doing this. I love getting to know you even deeper. I love knowing where your mind goes, like seeing how much you've grown since the last time we talked on the episode. Because, like, I mean, we talk all the time, but I don't know what it is about us recording on the camera. It's just, it does something, like, and being able to play it back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's like, I think we talked about this a little bit earlier, how, you know, everybody has their own thing. Every couple, every married couple, whatever, everybody has their own thing. Like some couples enjoy sports together.
Mm-hmm.
Some couples enjoy hiking or going for a walk. We actually enjoy some of those things.
Yeah.
One of our other things is recording and having these conversations together.
Yeah.
That's our thing. Some people is going to church and Sunday school or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
You know, picnics. I don't know. But our thing is we like to have meaningful conversations that add value to us that we're willing to share.
Yeah.
That we're willing to share.
Yeah.
But it's not to tell anybody what they should do for themselves. Mm-hmm. It's just like, hey, this is something that we're dealing with, something that we're learning or whatever. We will invite you in on our conversation. Mm-hmm. This is what we got going on. And I love that because I've got to see so many different versions of you in us having this show. And I've got to see us grow so much over the past, year, however long it's been. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we get to watch each other develop so much in real time. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful for that because I can see that we're not stagnant in our relationship. Mm-hmm. We're not stagnant in our growth. We're not stagnant in our connectedness because this is just one part or one form of our own type of intimacy that we get to share together. Mm-hmm. And this is what works for us. Mm-hmm. And that's the bigger message. Just like, hey, do what works for you.
Right.
And be okay with it. Going back to vulnerability. Mm-hmm. Being okay with what works for you. Being okay with all of who you are. Mm-hmm. Being okay with the unique things that make you who you are. Being okay with the unique things about your marriage, about your relationship that maybe other people can't relate to.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Right.
That's what makes it special.
Yeah.
Because it's something that two people have that we have, right? Mm-hmm. That we get to share in such a meaningful way to us. And it's not for everybody else to understand.
Absolutely.
That's why it's special.
Yeah.
That's why you don't get where we coming from all the time.
Yeah. Because
we get it.
Yeah.
We the ones in a relationship.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
Me too.
That's it, man. That's where we at with it. You got anything else for me?
No, this is good.
I love it. Hey, man, if you got value out of today's episode, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think. Until next time, family, my name is John Trone. This is my beautiful queen.
Adoria.
We are one dope couple. And until next time, family, peace and love.